Hey guys, it's Alex. How you doing? One of the more difficult things I've come across in my dating life is the fact that I don't drink. Now, I don't drink because I used to have a problem, or I'm a recovering alcoholic, or I've had some past trauma. Honestly, when I was a young man in the 80s, the Say No to Drugs campaign actually stuck. I was one of those kids that was like the DARE program, to dare to say no to drugs. It stuck. And in school, they taught you, hey, alcohol is a drug. So you're like, okay. And then you started hearing about, people being drunk and doing things when their mind is altered. I said, well, that's probably something I don't want to experience. So I just never really got into it. High school, never went to keggers, never went to parties, and I avoided people that got drunk and drank, and it kind of stuck all the way up until my adulthood. So I know that sometimes if drinking is a big part of your, let's say, lifestyle, going out with someone like me might be a little difficult. But I suggest to people that, look, I don't mind that you drink. If anything, I'll be a designated driver. But it doesn't matter. No matter what, every single time you go out on a date with a girl that tells you, oh, that's kind of cool that you don't drink. My last boyfriend was a narcissist and an alcoholic. That's something I don't have to think about. What do they try to do on the date or subsequent dates thereafter? They want you to try beer. They want you to try alcohol. They want you to try a drink. They want you to try something soft, a seltzer, some kind of cider, some slight alcoholic beverage because they feel uncomfortable drinking alone. It's something I never really understood. I still don't understand. Why can't you just have a drink for you? Is it a social thing? Maybe. But one of the more rare or crazy things that's happened to me on a date is a woman accepts that I don't drink, but tries to get me to do another type of drug. Let's talk about it. So I'm kind of a rare guy. I'm a Hispanic guy that's American cultured. I'm very much into science, but I'm not smart. I just find it fascinating. I find mechanical things fascinating. I find space travel fascinating. So maybe women think I'm some kind of nerd, but I look athletic. So they go, wait, he looks athletic. He's Puerto Rican. He doesn't drink. He likes science. He likes fast cars. He doesn't really fuck around. He's either at the gym, here, or in the garage. They don't know how to deal with a guy like that. I think would rather deal with a guy that has had a past, like a checkered past, than a guy that's straight-laced and has his head on right. I think they have issues coping or dealing with that. So when I started talking to one girl I went on a date with, the date was going pretty well. She had a couple of drinks, a couple too many, but not that she was drunk. I was judging. I was looking at her going, after your fifth drink, which is $100, you don't think you should, start drinking water right about now? No, they just kept on drinking. And I was just like, okay, well, that's probably going to be a problem. Not that I mind you drinking. It's the amount that you're drinking and it is not affecting you. That's probably a problem. So when we were talking and she started talking, she was into science also. So we started talking back and forth about science, about our experiences together, da-da-da-da. She goes, you know what I did one time that really opened my eyes as to how the world works? I go, what? I was thinking some kind of chamber where there's no noise. You know how they make these chambers where there's no noise, you're like floating in water, and you just start to see things because the lack of noise and outside environment makes you just sit there and think, and supposedly people see things. She's like, well, mushrooms. So I was like, mushrooms? She's like, yeah, I did mushrooms, therapeutic mushrooms. Now, a lot of you guys are probably going, yeah, there's such things as therapeutic mushrooms, Alex. And I'm just like, I don't care. It's an altered state of mind. Understand this, guys. One of the biggest regrets most men have is making a decision during an altered state of mind, whether it's drunk, high, low, whatever. The moment your mind is altered, your decision making is affected greatly. So maybe that's another reason I don't partake in any drugs, and I don't do any no alcohol, no drugs, no nothing. Every decision I've ever made, whether good or bad, has been made with a clear, absolute clear state of mind. So this date, we're going back and forth about her experience with mushrooms, and that's all she wanted to talk about. After that moment came up, all she wanted to talk about was mushrooms, how it figured out her past, how it figured out her relationships with her mom and dad, how it figured everything out. And I thought to myself, you were on drugs. Like, you were on drugs. Now, a lot of you out there are going to say, no, Alex, it really is mind opening. Yes, because your chemical imbalance is to a peak because it is being influenced by an outside substance. Of course, drunk, high, blasted out of my mind, I'm probably going to think differently. So if you need a drug, in my opinion, to fix or figure out your past, I think you got even deeper issues. So when I said, wow, that's interesting, I didn't judge her for the drug use. I did judge her for the alcohol use. I was like, okay, I thought the subject was dead and buried. No. She's like, you should do mushrooms. And I was like, why should I do mushrooms? She's like, because, the way you think and the way you talk and the way you view the world is very interesting to me. But I think with, going on a trip, therapeutically, I think it would really open up your world. And I'm like, I appreciate that, but I'm not interested. That right there makes everyone that uses drugs or drinks or smokes whatever loses their mind. What do you mean you're not curious as to how you feel? I said, I'm happy. I'm a genuinely happy guy. So, yeah, you can get black-pilled sometimes and you have your moments of pessimism, but generally, I'm happy with myself. I've done the work. I've understood who I am. I don't need outside influences to enlighten me to anything. I'm actually pretty good. And I think that was a negative to her. I've had other people that literally go out of their way to say, if you don't drink with me, we cannot go out anymore. Think about that, ladies. Think about what you're looking for. If you find a guy that you like in terms of physicality, is attractive, has good conversation, a good job, focused, has a path forward, but then you throw in a huge roadblock, which is, I need you to do drugs in order for you to go out with me any further because I do drugs and I can't go out with someone that's straight-laced and good while I want to get blasted out of my mind or drunk until I forget, what happened that night. So that's one of the biggest hurdles I've had to overcome with dating. Mushroom Girl was nonstop about mushrooms. I'm telling you, she was hitting the table going, you have to do mushrooms. You have no idea how life-altering it was. So then I asked the simple question, did it help you cope or did it fix anything? No. She said, well, I realized why I am the way I am. I understood my past trauma with that trip. I go, so what'd you do about it to fix it? Did you have another trip to maybe have another experience to see if there's an answer? Or did you just get high or have a bad trip or have a trip, whatever you want to call it, with mushrooms? It opened up a chunk of your brain that accessed traumatic experiences. It manifested itself in some kind of vision with a tiger jumping over a rainbow telling you that manifests whatever. And you said, oh, I figured it out. Well, the problem is a lot of people have like a crazy experience with drugs the first time. They think it's like this fix. They think they're enlightened because they saw stuff. They think they're better than you because they do drugs. And they judge you because you're just not interested. So that is a very difficult thing, and I thought it would never happen as an adult. I thought people at my age, or at least 30-year-old and up, understood that maybe drugs aren't for everyone, and alcohol isn't for everyone, and if you're dating with an open mind, you're just looking for a person that is compatible to you. But if compatibility means doing drugs, forcing them to drink, or saying you should go out with someone that drinks, maybe you should, I don't know, reevaluate what your dating checkboxes look like. And I asked her, so if I drank and did mushrooms with you, would that make me a better person than I am now? She goes, well, no, not necessarily. You still have to be a nice person. I go, oh, so you want the perfect package. Interesting. You want a guy that is like me, drinks, and does mushrooms so that they can go out with you on a second date. She goes, no, not necessarily. The moment she started saying, I need you to do mushrooms, it would be such a great idea. After me telling her I do no drugs at all, tells me that she was absolutely deaf as to where I was coming from when it comes to the dating scene. Unbelievable stuff. Yes, I have been asked to drink, and if I don't drink, then they can't go out with me any further. And the latest one said, you need to do mushrooms to figure your shit out. And once I said, I'm pretty good, she was actually a little upset about that. Crazy world out there. And she was a good looking girl too. So I'm like, you're just putting roadblocks and more roadblocks in front of your dating life because you want guys to do what you do, and that's the only way going forward. More dating stories coming soon in 2024. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for listening. See you later.